Welcome to the new video, Old Cryptocoin. When we talk about the Liberty 1 cent coin of the United States of America, we are stepping into a deep and fascinating journey through American history, art, politics, and everyday commerce, because the 1 cent coin is more than just small change. It is one of the most recognized and longest-running coin denominations in U.S. history. And for generations, it has carried powerful national symbols and the word liberty, representing the ideals on which the nation was built. The story begins in the late 18th century when the young United States needed its own coinage system after independence, and early large cents were introduced with the image of liberty as a classical female figure, showing freedom and sovereignty rather than a monarch, which was a bold statement at the time. These early liberty cents were much larger than today's penny and made primarily of copper, featuring different liberty portrait styles over the decades, including flowing hair, draped bust, classic head, and later the coronet design, each change reflecting evolving artistic taste and minting technology. As the country grew and commerce expanded, the size and composition of the 1 cent coin changed, leading to the famous small cent format introduced in 1856 to 1857 with the flying eagle design, followed shortly by the Indian head cent, which, despite its name, actually depicted liberty wearing a Native American headdress, symbolizing American identity and frontier spirit. These coins are highly collectible today, especially rare dates and well-preserved examples, and collectors carefully study mint marks, strike quality, and color grades such as brown, red-brown, and full red copper surfaces. A major turning point came in 1909 when the United States honored the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln by placing his portrait on the 1 cent coin, the first time a real historical person appeared on a regular U.S. circulating coin, created what is now known as the Lincoln cent, a design that continues in modified form today. The front shows Lincoln's profile, while the reverse has changed several times, from wheat ears, 1909 to 1958, to the Lincoln Memorial, 1959 to 2008, then to the Union Shield design introduced in 2010, each reverse telling a chapter of national heritage. The coin is produced by the United States Mint, with major facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, and West Point, and mint marks such as P, D, and S can significantly affect collector value depending on year and rarity. Over time, the metal composition also shifted due to economic pressures. Early cents were nearly pure copper, but during World War II in 1943, the cent was famously made of zinc-coated steel to save copper for the war effort, creating the well-known 1943 steel cent, while a few accidental bronze versions from that year became some of the most valuable era coins in American numismatics. In 1982, another major change occurred when the cent moved from mostly copper to a copper-plated zinc composition, making modern cents lighter and cheaper to produce, though this also introduced new varieties that specialists love to search for, including large date and small date differences and transitional errors. For a long-form collector perspective, you can explore how grading works, from circulated good and fine examples up through mint state coins with no wear, and even proof strikes made for collectors with mirror-like fields and sharp details, often sold in annual proof sets. Viewers should also understand how condition, rarity, mint mark, historical context, and demand combine to determine market value, and why two Liberty 1 cent coins of the same year can sell for dramatically different prices. Another engaging angle is error coins, off-center strikes, double dies, repunched mint marks, clipped planchets, which turn ordinary cents into sought-after treasures, sometimes found in pocket change. You can also discuss how the liberty concept remains symbolically present even when not pictured as a figure, because the word liberty is still inscribed on modern cents, connecting today's coinage with the earliest designs of the young republic. A 50-minute deep dive video can guide viewers through a timeline of designs, metal changes, famous rare dates, grading tips, storage advice, and real auction stories, while encouraging them to check their own jars and rolls for hidden gems. You can close by reminding the audience that the Liberty 1 cent is not just a coin, but a miniature historical document, passing through millions of hands, surviving economic change, war, innovation, and artistic redesign. And that coin collecting turns everyday objects into a gateway to understanding the story of America itself. One step, the Liberty 1 cent 1983 coin from the United States is one of the most interesting modern-era pennies for collectors and everyday viewers, because it sits at the crossroads of history, metal composition change, mint technology, and valuable era varieties, And in this video, we're going to explore everything you need to know about the 1983 Lincoln cent, including its historical background, design details, mint marks, production numbers, composition differences, famous errors, grading, factors, and how to tell if the coin in your pocket could be worth far more than 1 cent. Because by the early 1980s, the cost of copper had risen so much that the U.S. Mint had already shifted from mostly copper pennies to a copper-plated zinc composition starting in 1982, and the 1983 cent continued with that new standard, making it lighter than older bronze cents, weighing about 2.5 grams instead of the earlier 3.11 grams. And this change alone created confusion and opportunity since transitional errors and wrong planchet strikes around this period became some of the most valuable modern penny discoveries. And when we look at the design, the obverse still features a familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing right, originally designed by Victor David Brenner, with the word liberty on the left side, the date 1983 on the right, and the motto "I in God we trust" across the top, while the reverse for 1983 still uses the classic Wheat to Memorial era Lincoln Memorial design, introduced in 1959, showing the Lincoln Memorial building with tiny detail of Lincoln statue visible between the columns, along with the inscriptions United States of America and 1 cent and the motto E Pluribus Unum. And understanding mint marks is important because 1983 pennies were struck at multiple mint facilities, including Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a D mint mark, and San Francisco mainly for proof coins with an S mint mark, and each mint produced millions or even billions of coins, meaning most examples are common in circulated grades, but condition and errors are what separate ordinary coins from collectible ones. And one of the most talked about features of the 1983 penny is the double die reverse variety, often called the 1983 DDR, where strong doubling appears on a reverse lettering, especially in United States of America and 1 cent. And unlike minor machine doubling, this is true hub doubling and can show clear separation in the letters that is visible even without extreme magnification, making it one of the most desirable varieties of the year. And high-grade examples of this double die reverse coin have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on certification and condition. And to check for this, you should examine the reverse text carefully under magnification and good lighting, because Real double die doubling looks like a second image or thick split in the letters rather than flat shelf-like shadows. And besides doubling, collectors also search for off-center strikes, clip planchets, die cracks, cuds, and repunch mint marks where applicable. And although repunch mint marks are more famous on older coins, minor mint mark anomalies can still add collector interest. And another important topic with 1983 cents is weight testing, because the standard 1983 cent should be copper-plated zinc at about 2.5 grams. So if you ever find a 1983 penny weighing closer to 3.1 grams, that could indicate a rare wrong planchet error struck on an older bronze blank, which would be extremely valuable and should be authenticated by a professional grading service. And when we talk about grading, circulated 1983 cents with heavy were usually worth only face value, but uncirculated coins with full red luster, known as RD or red by grading companies, can bring premium prices, especially in mint state grades like MS65, MS66, or higher, where strike quality, luster, and lack of spots are critical. And Proof 1983. S-cents made for collectors have mirror-like fields and frosted devices and are usually found in proof sets. But deep cameo examples with strong contrast are more desirable, and storage also matters because copper-plated zinc cents can develop spots, corrosion, or bubbling if exposed to moisture, since the zinc core can react if the thin copper layer is damaged. So proper dry storage in holders or albums helps preserve value. And from a storytelling angle, the 1983 penny represents the new era of cost-saving coinage in America, showing how economic pressure changed even the smallest denomination, and that makes it a great teaching coin for new collectors who want to learn how composition, minting methods, and error varieties affect value. And in coin roll hunting, 1983 cents are still commonly found, which means this is a realistic date for viewers to search for double dies and other errors without needing expensive purchases. And many collectors build full Lincoln cent, date and mint sets including multiple 1983 varieties, such as 1983 no mint mark, 1983D, and 1983S proof, plus any recognized double die reverses. And if you want to increase your chances of finding a valuable piece, Look for coins with sharp lettering, strong memorial detail, original red color, and any unusual thickness or lettering distortion. And always compare with verified variety photos before making a claim. And if you believe you found a major error, consider sending it to a third-party grading service for authentication and encapsulation, because certified examples are easier to sell and often command higher prices. And overall, the Liberty 1 cent 1983 may look ordinary at first glance, but with the right knowledge, careful inspection, and a bit of patience, it can become one of the most exciting modern pennies to study and collect, turning a simple 1 cent coin into a gateway for understanding mint history, coin errors, grading science, and the thrill of discovery that keeps collectors searching through their change every day. Step 2, the 1988 Liberty 1 cent from the United States, is one of those coins that many people overlook in their daily change. Yet for collectors, it represents an important piece of modern small denomination coin history. And in this video, we're going to explore every angle of the 1988 cent, from its design origins and historical background to mint production, varieties, errors, grading impact, and collector value, so you can understand why this small copper-colored coin still attracts attention today. Because the 1 cent coin carries a long-running portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design that has been in use in various forms since 1909, making it one of the most recognizable coin portraits in the world. And by 1988, the Lincoln cent had already transitioned from its earlier mostly copper composition to the copper-plated zinc format introduced in 1982, meaning that your 1988 cent is primarily zinc at its core, with a thin copper layer bonded to the surface, which changed the weight and durability compared to earlier bronze cents. And understanding this composition is important because it affects how these coins age, tone, corrode, and appear in circulated versus uncirculated condition. And when you look closely at a 1988 cent, you will see the familiar right-facing bust of Lincoln, along with the word Liberty to the left, the date to the right, and the motto "I in God we trust" across the top rim, while the reverse still features a Lincoln memorial, design that was used from 1959 through 2008, creating a long continuous typeset run that many collectors try to complete by date and mint mark. And in 1988, these cents were struck at multiple facilities of the United States Mint, including Philadelphia and Denver for circulation, with San Francisco producing proof versions for collectors. And each mint location is identified by a small mint mark under the date, with no mint mark for Philadelphia issues of that era, a D for Denver, and an S for San Francisco proofs. And when building a collection, identifying these mint marks correctly is one of the first and most important steps, because mintage numbers differ, and so does relative availability in high grades. And speaking of mintages, the late 1980s were a time of very high coin production due to strong circulation demand. So hundreds of millions to billions of 1988 cents were struck, which means that in worn condition they are extremely common and typically only worth face value. Yet the story changes when we move into high uncirculated grades, and especially into certified mint state examples with strong luster, sharp strike, and minimal contact marks, where registry set collectors compete for top-graded coins, and prices can rise significantly compared to pocket change pieces. And another fascinating aspect of the 1988 cent is the existence of design varieties involving a reverse hub, where some 1988 cents are known with a reverse style more commonly associated with the following year, often called the 1988 reverse of 1989 variety by specialists. And these varieties are identified by small but measurable design differences in lettering and details of the memorial, showing how even modern coins can contain subtle collectible distinctions. And this is why magnification tools, such as a 5x to 10x loop, are recommended for anyone searching rolls of cents, because varieties and minor errors are rarely visible to the naked eye, and beyond varieties, error coins from 1988 can include off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, and plating issues where the copper layer bubbles or peels, creating unusual textures and colors. And such mint errors can carry premiums depending on severity and eye appeal. And when discussing value, grading becomes central to the conversation, because a heavily circulated 1988 cent with scratches and discoloration might be worth only 1 cent, while a blazing red mint state example graded MS67 or higher by a major grading service can sell for dramatically more, especially if it is exceptional color classified as RD for full red, since copper color is a major factor in cent grading, with red bringing the highest premiums, red-brown moderate premiums, and brown usually the lowest among uncirculated pieces. And storage therefore matters a lot for collectors who want to preserve the bright original color, using non-PVC holders, low humidity, and stable temperatures to slow oxidation. And if you are searching bank rolls for 1988 cents, it helps to separate coins by mint mark and condition first. Then inspect the best survivors for strike quality, luster, and possible variety markers. And over time, this method can build a high-quality date set at very low cost, which is one reason Lincoln cent collecting remains one of the most popular entry points into numismatics. And historically, the late 1980s also sit in an interesting economic period in America, with expanding consumer activity and heavy coin usage, which partly explains the large mintages and the need for durable plated coins and for educational YouTube content. The 1988 Liberty 1 cent is a great teaching coin because it allows viewers to learn about composition changes, mint marks, grading, varieties, and error hunting all in one example, turning an everyday object into a gateway for deeper collecting knowledge. And as you handle these coins, always remember to hold them by the edges. Avoid cleaning them, since cleaning reduces collector value, and consider using labeled flips or albums organized by year and mint, because good habits early on make a big difference as a collection grows. And in conclusion, while the 1988 Liberty 1 cent may seem ordinary at first glance, it represents a continuation of historic design, a modern shift in metallic composition, multiple mint outputs, collectible varieties, and the ongoing story of small denomination coinage in American commerce, proving that even the smallest coin can carry a large amount of history and collecting opportunity for those willing to look closely and learn. Step 3, the 1992 Liberty 1 cent coin from the United States, is one of those fascinating modern coins that many people overlook, yet it carries deep historical symbolism, important design details, and surprising collector interest when examined closely. This 1 cent coin, commonly known as the Lincoln cent, continues the long-running design first introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln, making it one of the most recognizable coins in American pocket change. When you begin your video, invite viewers to look carefully at the obverse of the 1992 cent, where Lincoln's right-facing portrait appears with the word liberty to the left, the year 1992 to the right, and the national motto, I in God, we trust, above his head, all of which together create a compact but symbolically rich layout that reflects national identity and continuity. Explain that by 1992 the coin was being struck primarily in a copper-plated zinc composition rather than the earlier bronze alloy, a change that started in 1982 due to rising copper prices, and this makes the coin lighter than older cents while keeping the same familiar color and appearance, something collectors often demonstrate by comparing weights on a small digital scale. You can then move into how these coins were produced by the United States Mint at multiple facilities, mainly Philadelphia and Denver for circulation strikes, with San Francisco producing proof versions for collector sets, and encourage viewers to check the small mint mark under the date, where a D indicates Denver, no mint mark indicates Philadelphia, and an S indicates a proof strike from San Francisco. Continue by describing the reverse design used in 1992, which still featured the Lincoln Memorial Building, shown in detailed engraving with the statue of Lincoln visible between the columns, along with the inscriptions United States of America and 1 cent, and the motto E Pluribus Unum above the memorial, noting that this reverse design was used from 1959 until it was replaced in 2009, giving the 1992 coin a place within that long design era. To extend the script, discuss mintages and how tens of billions of Lincoln cents were struck in the early 1990s, making most 1992 cents very common in circulated grades, yet emphasize that condition is everything in coin collecting, and high-grade uncirculated examples with strong luster, no spots, and sharp details can still carry premium value, especially when certified by grading services. Add an engaging segment about varieties and errors, explaining that collectors always check 1992 cents for double dies, off-center strikes, clip planchets, and die cracks, and mention that close AM varieties are especially talked about for the early 1990 cents, where the space in between the letters A and M America on the reverse differs from normal issues, encouraging viewers to use magnification to inspect this detail themselves. You can build more depth by teaching how to grade a 1992 cent, walking through what looks like on Lincoln's hair, cheek, and jawline, how mint luster appears as a cartwheel shine on uncirculated coins, and how red, brown, and brown color designations affect collector pricing, with full original red surfaces usually being the most desirable. Expand further by giving practical advice on how to store these coins safely in holders, flips, or albums to avoid moisture and fingerprints. And remind viewers that even common coins can become meaningful parts of a personal collection when preserved properly. To keep the video flowing toward a 50-minute runtime, include storytelling elements about how many people first discover coin collecting through pennies, searching rolls from banks, checking dates and mint marks, and learning history through small everyday objects, and tie the 1992 cent into that journey as a coin that is modern enough to find but old enough to show decades of circulation history. Add comparison moments where you describe differences between pre-1982 copper cents and post-1982 copper-plated zinc cents. Suggest simple at-home tests like weighing and sound comparison, and explain why metal composition changes matter economically. You can also include a market segment discussing typical values, clarifying that most circulated 1992 cents are worth face value. Uncirculated rolls trade for modest premiums. Proof coins are valued higher, and certified top population pieces can reach much stronger prices, especially if they display exceptional strike quality and eye appeal. Close the script by encouraging viewers to check their change, learn mint marks, study varieties, and build knowledge step by step, reminding them that the 1992 Liberty 1 cent is more than just a penny. It is a small, affordable gateway into American history, minting technology, design evolution, and the rewarding hobby of coin collecting, where patience and attention to detail can turn ordinary finds into exciting discoveries. Stapp lost the 1999 Liberty 1 cent from the United States of America is one of those coins that many people overlook in their daily change. Yet it carries a deep historical legacy and a fascinating collecting story that makes it worth a closer look. This small copper-colored coin continues the long-running Lincoln cent tradition first introduced in 1909, featuring the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design that has become one of the most recognized images in American coinage. The 1999 issue was produced by the United States Mint and struck primarily at the Philadelphia and Denver facilities, with mint marks P and D respectively, though Philadelphia cent of this period typically do not show a mint mark. When you examine the front of the 1999 cent, you see Lincoln facing right, with the word Liberty to the left, the date 1999 to the right, and the motto I in God we trust above, all elements that connect the coin to more than a century of continuous design heritage in the United States. The reverse of the 1999 1 cent still uses the Lincoln Memorial design that was introduced in 1959, showing the memorial building in fine detail, and if you look closely under magnification, you can even see a tiny representation of Lincoln seated inside, which is one of the most famous micro-details in modern circulating coins. For collectors, the 1999 penny is especially interesting because it sits near the end of the memorial reverse era, just before the major reverse design changes that began in 2009, and this places it in an important transitional decade for Lincoln cent history. In terms of composition, the 1999 cent is made mostly of zinc with thin copper plating, a standard that began in 1982 when rising copper prices forced a change in the earlier bronze alloy, and this makes the coin lighter than older cents while keeping the familiar color. A typical 1999 circulation strike is very common and usually worth face value, but condition is everything in coin collecting, and examples graded in high mint state can carry premiums, especially coins with strong luster, full red color, and minimal contact marks. Red uncirculated coins, often labeled RD by grading services, are more desirable than red-brown or brown pieces because they show less oxidation and better preservation. Another area collectors focus on is era varieties, and while the 1999 cent is not as famous as some major era years, there are still off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, and broad strikes known to exist, and these can dramatically increase value depending on severity and eye appeal. When creating a collection of Lincoln cents by date and mint mark, the 1999 issues from both Philadelphia and Denver are essential slots, and many hobbyists enjoy searching bankrolls to find the best possible examples for their albums. The year 1999 also sits at the edge of the millennium, which adds a subtle historical appeal for themed collections tied to the turn of the century. Proof versions of the 1999 cent were also struck for collectors, featuring mirror-like fields and frosted devices, sold in official proof sets, and these coins typically show much sharper detail and contrast than circulation strikes. Proper storage plays a big role in preserving 1999 cents, because the copper plating can discolor or spot if exposed to moisture or air pollutants. So serious collectors use holders, albums, or capsules to protect high-grade examples. Grading standards such as MS-60 through MS-70 are used to judge uncirculated coins, and learning how to evaluate strike quality, surface preservation, and color can help collectors decide whether a 1999 cent is just pocket change or a premium collectible. The coin also serves as a great teaching piece for new collectors, since it's affordable, widely available, and directly connected to a major historical figure, making it perfect for explaining obverse and reverse design, minting process, and grading basics. From the master hub to working dies, to high-speed presses striking thousands of coins per minute, the journey of a 1999 Liberty 1 cent from blank planchet to finished coin reflects the precision and scale of modern minting technology. Even though millions were made, each individual coin can travel a different path through circulation, picking up marks and toning that create a unique appearance over time. Searching through circulated examples can reveal differences in wear patterns, color shifts, and strike sharpness, which makes even common-date coins engaging to study. Many collectors build full-date runs of Lincoln cents from 1909 onward, and the 1999 issue represents a late series anchor that connects the classic memorial reverse era with the modern redesigns that followed. Whether you are a beginner starting with pocket change, a roll hunter searching for top condition pieces, or an advanced numismatist assembling certified high-grade sets, the 1999 Liberty 1 cent offers history, accessibility, and educational value all in one small coin, proving that even the lowest denomination in U.S. currency can carry a rich story when viewed through the lens of collecting and historical appreciation.